How we doing, guys? Welcome to the preview and a predicted lineup. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. And finally, the international break is over. I do not like the international break. It's 2 weeks of sitting there, twiddling your thumbs and just waiting for the real football to return. But yeah, listen, Nottingham Forest. And this game's got a little bit more interest to it. And the reasoning for that is because Nottingham Forest have sacked Nuno Espirito Santo and they've replaced him already with Ange Postecoglou. We will all know who Ange Postecoglou is, Tottenham manager. But yeah, listen, it just seems a really, really mad appointment. And I know that the owner and Postecoglou know each other and they're friends and all the rest of it. But I just feel that the sacking of Nuno is not because of anything that's happening on the pitch. It's more off the pitch, and it involves Edu, who we obviously know a lot about. And it's kind of been brewing for a few weeks, but it's kind of the timing. You know, we go on to an international break and you think, right, if they're going to make the change, do it straight at the start of the window of that, period of the international break. And then there's 2 weeks to kind of settle in and just wait for the international players to come back or whatever it might be. But it's the fact that it's only a few days before the international break finishes. And it just feels weird in its timing. There's a lot of people that are saying this is the worst thing for Arsenal. It's a new manager bounce and, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think new manager bounce counts with Nottingham Forest. I don't think that applies to them. Now, my reasoning for that is because normally a manager gets sacked because the results are poor, everything's going wrong, they're losing matches, players are not playing for the manager, but none of that applies to Nuno Espirito Santo. The results have not been bad. When you look at their start to the season, a win, a draw and a defeat. This is a man that took Nottingham Forest from 17th in the Premier League to European football. The players are playing for him. There's players that will be absolutely gutted that he's been sacked. So I don't believe that Ange Postecoglou coming in is going to be a new manager bounce because there's nothing to bounce. They're not having a run of poor results. The players don't want the manager sacked. And the players were clearly playing for the manager. There's also the situation normally with managers that get sacked, that players that were exiled could be brought back in and everything else. And there's so much involved within this, involving Nottingham Forest, and their fans will know better than me. I'm giving my opinion from the outside looking in, but I look at Edu, Nuno, the kind of relationship that was building between them. It was obvious there was a problem. Is it to do with sign-ins? I look on transfer deadline day and I think to myself as well, okay, Nottingham Forest bring in Zinchenko, for example, from Arsenal. And I think, is that a Nuno signing or is that an Edu signing? Because from the outside looking in, that's an Edu signing. Edu is the one who put Zinchenko on ridiculous wages at Arsenal. So it's only common that, he would be the one who's ridiculous enough to give him them similar kind of wages at Nottingham Forest. Like I said, I'm speaking from the outside looking in, so I don't know the whole ins and outs, but it just seems a really strange appointment. It seems a really strange sacking. Somebody that's got you European football being replaced by somebody that finished 17th in the Premier League, lost 22 games all season. You could talk about him winning the Europa League all you want, but at the end of the day, that competition is nowhere near what it ever used to be because teams from the Champions League don't drop down. It's a much easier, competition to win. The final was between two very, very poor sides in the Premier League. One that finished 17th, one that finished 15th. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah, listen, I don't think there's going to be a new manager bounce because I don't see there's anything to bounce. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, a new manager is in there. So we will have to be wary of that. We'll have to deal with that and we'll have to, go and do our job. I don't think that he's going to make lots of changes. I don't think he's going to be changing to his system and playing high lines and everything else. I think he will keep it pretty much what they've always been doing until he gets his feet under the table. So I don't expect a lot to change. So with that said, let's go and get into the lineup. In goal, David Raya. Very straightforward one. He's our Premier League goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. Right back, Jurrien Timber. From what we're hearing, Ben White is possibly returning, but he wouldn't start the game. Jurrien Timber, he starts. Very simple. Right centre-back will be Christian Mosquera. Of course, William Saliba is injured. There is talk that he will be back for the Man City game in a week's time. But based on his performance against Liverpool, I don't think there's a single Arsenal fan that's panicking right now. This is not losing William Saliba for Rob Holding. You know, this is Christian Mosquera, who looks to be one hell of a player. So no issues at all. Left centre-back will be Gabriel. Of course, we do have a new signing now in Hencape. And when I was watching him on international duty and last time out against Argentina, he looks good. And like Gabriel, he looks like he will put absolutely everything on the line to keep a clean sheet. But he's got to integrate and he's got to, get to know the players and, start to bed into the team and everything else. But Gabriel will start the game. Left back, I think it will still be Calafiori. I don't think that's going to change. I may have changed that if Calafiori played for Italy last time out in their game against Israel, but they didn't. So only had one game on international duty. I think that's enough. I'm all right with that. I think that he will stay and, start in the lineup. In the midfield, first of all, Martin Zubimendi. Again, this is a very straightforward one. Really good for Spain on, international duty. Got a really good assist in there as well. Alongside him, Declan Rice, superb for England during the internationals. A goal, 2 assists. Very, very straightforward. On the right-hand side, Noni Madueke. There is talk that Bukayo Saka will be back for this game, but we're not going to be risking him, that's for sure. And Noni Madueke right now is flying. An assist and a goal for England. And he's looking good, very good. And it's brilliant news when it comes to the likes of Saka that you don't need to rush them back. We've got massive games coming up and it's a long season. And unlike before where you needed to kind of maybe rush Saka, I don't think we need to. Put him on the bench. It's as simple as that. Noni Madueke starts. Next up, we have Martin Odegaard. Fresh trim, no more hair flicks. He's got the buzz cut. And a lot of people are saying, right, you're going to see the best of him again now. And listen, when you look at Norway in their last international, 10-1 was it or something? I lost count. But a couple of assists and a goal. And one of the passes he made for Erling Haaland in particular, I was watching that and I was like, oh, mate, please supply Gyökeres like that. Please. He's craving for that. But yeah, listen, Martin Odegaard will start the game. On the left-hand side, Eberechi Eze. I don't think this is even a debate. It's not Trossard, it's not Martinelli, it's not anybody. It is Eze. It's as simple as that. And then up front, as the main striker, I'm thinking Victor Gyökeres. Listen, there could be an argument for Mikel Merino to play as a striker. 4 goals on international duty, including a hat-trick against Turkey and some unbelievable finishes. But I don't think that will happen. It would surprise me. Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if Mikel Merino played as a striker. But I just feel that Mikel Arteta will go with Victor Gyökeres. So, yeah, there we go. That is the lineup. And listen, this is where we're going to have to start using our squad now as well. We've got, Champions League games coming up thick and fast. We're going to be in Bilbao on Tuesday for Athletic Club, which would be a difficult game. And then, of course, we've got Man City next weekend. And this is where you've got to start utilising the squad. But coming back from the international duty, given the minutes played, I think we're still early enough in the season to just, keep things ticking over and do all right. So that's what I would go with the lineup. Let me know in the comments section whether you agree or disagree. It's as simple as that. So there we go. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot very soon. I'm out of here.